Hello, welcome back to my haunted library. It's Regina. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to Christmas Eve, a cozy, I'm calling this a blue Christmas this year. Not that it's negative, but just a blue Christmas seems to be the theme for my week at least, just from what I've been doing and what I've been reading. Nothing terribly tragic, just I think I've just been in touch a little bit with the melancholic nature of the holidays, which I'm sure a lot of horror fans can relate to. And I thought I would just share a few things, a little bit of a mixed bag today. And we have some mail, so let's take a look. Nice little Christmas card. I recognize the address. Oh, happy holidays. Dear Regina and Joe, here's to a very Merry Christmas and a wonderful 2024. I'm so glad we got a chance to meet up at StokerCon this year, and I hope we can figure out another meetup one of these days. Absolutely. Love, Alex. And Alex, thank you so much, Alex. That's really sweet. I definitely want to. I saw that someone posted, oh, it was you. Horror on the Hudson. That was you. Okay, yeah, maybe we can make that happen. I haven't looked into that yet, but I will. Okay. Oh. This is from the Mistress of Horror. I know who this is. This is from D.L. Tillery, Danette. She gave me such a great Secret Santa present. I think that was last year. And this pillow and a couple other things that you'll see in my library. I really love it. Well, this is so nice. Danette, I sent your card. You should be getting it hopefully before Christmas, I hope. Oh, this definitely fits in with my blue Christmas theme. I was going to wear blue velvet, except I didn't have any, so I wore black velvet instead. This is a dress that I'm going to be wearing to all my Christmas parties this week. Ooh, pretty. Aw, may your Christmas be bright from the Mistress of Horror. I love her wax seal. That's so cool. Very pretty card. Lovely. And there's a gift. So thoughtful. Look at that creepy paper. Oh, wow. Oh, thank you, Danette. Thank you so much. Fractals. This is her book. And I don't have the hardback. It's not hardback, but the print copy. I don't have the print copy, so this is great. I have the Kindle copy. Oh, how wonderful. Stay scared. She signed it, and we have some cool stickers and another neat postcard. Can't really see it with it. I love that. I love these stickers. And snowflakes. Always a wonderful reminder that we're unique, spiritual children of God. Oh, and a lovely bookmark. And, oh, that's creepy. That's a really cool, creepy pen. Is it like a reptilian pen, or is that like a spinal column? I don't know, but it's cool. Thank you so much, Danette. This is lovely. I am definitely going to reread Fractals because it's a very good, like, winter themed story, as I recall, and be perfect to read. Because when I get through the mail, I'm going to be talking about how I am reading some winter stuff and Christmassy stuff. I think the rest of this, oh, this is DL's submission. I think the rest of these are all bookworm submissions. Okay, cool. I'm starting to go through the submissions for the new bookworms. The deadline's January 1st. And speaking of bookworms, we only have one left that hasn't been sold out. I mean, not one copy. This issue still has a few copies left in the Etsy store, so check it out. And, geez, what else? I feel like someone sent me a Christmas card last week, and I put it on my sofa, and somehow when I was cleaning, because I put things here, which I know, like when I do the next video, I'm going to open that card or whatever mail it is, but now I can't find it. So I hope it didn't get misplaced. I'll find it eventually, but if it was your card and you sent it, I'm sorry. And if I'm just delusional, I'm sorry about that too. Okay, so I have a few books to go through that I've been reading, and Then I'm going to have, like I do every Christmas, a little ghost story. It's kind of a ghost story. Might be a little bit different this time around at the end. Oh, and I wanted to mention thanks for everyone who bought a copy of Carney, my new book. I'd sold a lot of copies already. I'm really happy to see that. I've gotten a few really good reviews. I got one clunker, but I kind of expected that because my protagonist is pretty polarizing, actually. But I'm really just happy that people are reading it and liking it, or, when they get to it, I hope they like it. Speaking of reviews, James and I will be doing our new Bookworms podcast. We had one we did last week was pen names, which if you haven't listened to yet, I'll link it below. Definitely check that out. So tomorrow we're going to be recording the new podcast, which is all about reviews. Okay, so moving on. I did finish Stephen King, The Dark Tower, Book One, The Gunslinger. I read this for my local book club, and I didn't really like it. The ending wasn't, this is the second time I read it, so I kind of knew what was happening. I appreciated the ending a little more, and I have to say I appreciated the book more from listening to other people in my group discuss what they liked about it. So, I went in there with an open mind. I was at the party last night. I was talking to someone that we were talking about. She also is in a book club. And I was telling her that I didn't really like this book. And she's like, oh, it's really fun to bash a book at a book club. And I'm like, maybe I should be bolder about doing that. Not that I really wanted to bash it, but I just didn't enjoy it. That's all I'm going to say about it. I did enjoy this book that I just randomly picked off my paperback from Hell's Shelf. And this is Scorpion by Katina Alexis. Let's zoom in on that fabulous cover. It has an embossed scorpion. In the shadow of Bald Mountain lurks a menacing presence. The men of the little backwoods community meet horrifying violent death. Hideous creatures vanish from the earth for millennia, suddenly reappear, harbingers of a hellish invasion. And at the center of it all, like a black widow spider waiting in her web, like the deadly scorpion poised to strike, is Silu, the Cherokee witchwoman. Her beauty is mesmerizing. Her powers derive from deep in her people's time-shrouded past. Can any force on earth destroy her? This was definitely a real paperbacks from hell kind of feel to it. I enjoyed it a lot. It's not a great book, but it was very entertaining. And I have a book by that writing team, Katina Alexis. It's just one pen name, so we'll just say Katina Alexis. But this one's called Young Blood. Definitely has a paperbacks from hell kind of vibe. And this book was the featured, I think, first book of Elizabeth Sagewood's new book club. And I really wanted to read along, but I bought this on Amazon, and I think maybe I bought it from a second party. Anyway, it took forever to get here. It just came today, and I'm sure the book club has already finished it, but I still plan to read it, and I hope to catch the next book. Or maybe I can read it really quickly and catch up. But anyway, this is called The Widow of Pale Harbor by Hester Fox. And I'll put the name of Elizabeth's book club here. It's Victorian something. I just don't want to mess it up because I can't think off the top of my head what it was. And what else? Oh, I read A Winter Haunting by Dan Simmons. My friend Patrick sent this to me along with a lot of other wonderful books. And as soon as I read the description, I knew I had to dig into this book. And I'm really glad I did because I absolutely loved it. Dan Simmons, I've read mostly his fantasy books like Hyperion. Excellent book. Excellent book. He's right up there with Stephen King and Peter Straub, like that level of writing. Really, really excellent. And this definitely put me in a wintry mood. And in some ways, the plot was in some ways similar to Scorpion, but this was like the cheesy version. And I mean that affectionately when I say cheesy. This one I loved. Okay, once a respected college professor and novelist, Dale Stewart, has sabotaged his career and his marriage, and now darkness is closing in on him. I realize I already read this description on my last video. So this definitely has that feeling of a man who's at a sense of real emotional breakdown, deciding, and this is a trope we've seen before, deciding to go and revisit the ghosts of his past and then confronting some real ghosts that are very scary. This book was great. I mean, I think it had a wonderful combination of fast-paced plot and some real scares that kept me guessing and turning the pages, and yet it had a lot of weight to it. It's very poignant, and the whole time you're not really sure if he is exactly who he says he is. And I thought that was really good, very clever. And I understand that this is part of a book series that I don't know if it has the same character, but it's set in seasons. There's like a summer horror season book. This came out in 2002, so I guess it's a little old now. I mean, for me, this is new. Yeah, he also wrote, and I read Hyperion, Children of the Night. He's written a lot of great books. Carrying Comfort, I've heard of that one as one of his horror books that I haven't read, but I mean, honestly, I would recommend just about anything he writes because he's really good. So, excellent winter book. It does take place at Halloween, but it goes from Halloween to Christmas. So it did have like a Christmas vibe to it too. This book had me going in spots, and I love that. Really, really good. And then I also read another book that Patrick had sent me called Lucky Girl, How I Became a Horror Writer, a Krampus Story by M. Rickert. Very short little novella. I read this in 1 or 2 sittings, I believe. This was really good. This is a writer that I would definitely check out again. I think it's a gal. I sampled her writing and decided, hell yeah, this is good. And I'm also started reading Krampus, the Yule Lord by Brom. It has some illustrations in it. I actually started reading this last year and I got that far, not too far, but I'm going to start again and get into the Christmas spirit. And then I just had some other things that I started, but I'll talk about those next time. So I wanted to end my Christmas video today with another thing that I've read, and that was a short story from The Dubliners by James Joyce, and that is called The Dead. It's a very famous story, and there's a wonderful film that John Huston did. I believe it was his last film starring his daughter, Angelica Houston, the actress. So the first time I read The Dubliners, the entire short story collection, was on an airplane flying back from Ireland. The first time I went there with my mom back in the late 90s, we did this whole trip, looked up all the old relatives, and I'm actually related to Joyce in my mother's side. We have some Joyces, and my grandmother grew up in Joyce country. So that was really interesting to kind of connect those dots, and I love all that stuff. I love learning about the history of Ireland. It's fascinating. And the story is about a Christmas party. It's a dance at these 2 old ladies, that they're aunts, and they're part of the music world in Dublin. And you just really feel that this sense of this activity going on at this party. It's alive. There's all kinds of characters kind of coming in and out. So the main character in the story is a man named Gabriel, who is very kind of preoccupied with his own thoughts and his interaction with different characters, and he gets a little self-conscious at times, and he gives a speech, this wonderful speech at the dinner table about the 3 Graces, which are his aunts and the niece. And that really reminded me of my 2 aunts. One is no longer with us, and the other is 99 years old, and still the matriarch of our family. And we all go to her home. We would go to their home, and it was just like a magical place, and with all kinds of incredible food. And at Christmas, of course, the decorations and the warmth and the love. And the story really taps into that. But the ending of the story is where I think the real gut punch is, as a lot of Joyce's work is. And it's famous. And if you see the film, the way they do the ending in the film is absolutely stunning. And my reading is going to pale in comparison to that. But at the end of the story, right toward the end, Gabriel's leaving with his wife, and he notices his wife standing on top of the stairs, listening very intently to this song. There's a tenor singing a song, and the husband's struck by just, her beauty and just how she looks in the light. and he's feeling really amorous, and they're going to go home back to, or back to this hotel, and he, hopefully they're going to get romantic, and he's anticipating this, and she bursts into tears and tells a story about a boy that loved her so much that he died of love for her by standing out in the cold and gazing up at her window, and the husband is moved, but he never loved anyone like that, including his wife. And he reflects on this at the end, a very poignant moment in this Blue Christmas. So I'm just going to read a little bit at the end. Generous tears filled Gabriel's eyes. He had never felt like that himself towards any woman, but he knew that such a feeling must be love. The tears gathered more thickly in his eyes, and in the partial darkness he imagined he saw the form of a young man standing under a dripping tree. Other forms were near. His soul had approached that region where dwelled the vast hosts of the dead. He was conscious of, but could not apprehend, their wayward and flickering existence. His own identity was fading out into a gray, impalpable world. The solid world itself, which these dead had one time reared and lived in, was dissolving and dwindling. A few light taps upon the pane made him turn to the window. It had begun to snow again. He watched sleepily the flakes, silver and dark, falling obliquely against the lamplight. The time had come for him to set out on his journey westward. Yes, the newspapers were right. Snow was general all over Ireland. It was falling on every part of the dark central plain, on the treeless hills, falling softly upon the bog of Allen, and further westward, softly falling into the dark, mutinous Shannon waves. It was falling, too, upon every part of the lonely churchyard on the hill where Michael Fury lay buried. It lay thickly drift on the crooked crosses and headstones, on the spears of the little gate, on the barren thorns. His soul swooned slowly as he heard the snow falling faintly through the universe, and faintly falling, like the descent of their last end, upon all the living and the dead. The cap of my Blue Christmas. I hope your Christmas or holiday, however you celebrate, is wonderful in its own way, whether blue or any other color of the rainbow. You know what I mean. I hope you have fun. I hope you enjoy some great times with family, that you make those beautiful connections, and you take moments for gazing out at the window and thinking about all the amazing things the world has to offer, all the wonderful mysteries. I think that's what I love best about this season. So from me, from Batilda, Lillian Lucky, and all of our friends here at the Haunted Library, I hope you have a wonderful holiday, and I will see you next year. Bye!